Yeah, we can start.
So good afternoon, a very warm welcome to this fireside chat with the WorldSkills gold medalist. Chase your winning moments. I would very proudly like to welcome Avastha Narayan, the water technology Orissa gold medalist WorldSkin 2019 winner. Many of the 130 crore plus people in India would like to have the distinction that you have actually got for yourself, and nobody can repeat it. You are the first ever gold medal winner from India at WorldSkills. It's thank you very much for agreeing to join this FICCI Fireside chat. A very special welcome to your mentor and guide, Sanjeev Kumar Raut, founder and president, CV Raman Global University, Orissa. So you have really invested in this, and thank you very much for your leadership, for your passion, for your dedication.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, we have Mr. Rashmikant Joshi, past co-chair of the FICCI Silk Development Committee and MD Festo India. Festo has been globally supporting the WorldSkills movement and also the didactic movement in India. It's a delight to have you. Sanjay Shivnani, who's currently the co-chair of the FICCI Skill Development Committee and head of technical training in Hindalco Aditya Birla Group, was in a different role in that period of time, career launchers, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
And you
right.
were with Ranjan Chaudhary, who is now head, senior head, WorldSkills India NSDC,
That's
present
right.
in Vigyan Bhavan on the 15th of July 2015. So
That's right.
first of all, to everybody on who is logged in, a very warm greetings for the World Youth Skills Day. It was actually designated in 2019. The first was celebrated on the 15th of July 2015, and this is the fifth anniversary. Yeah, there is one difference. That was pre-COVID. This is during COVID, and we don't know what it will look like post-COVID or when the post-COVID will come. I think while the pandemic has affected the global skill development ecosystem, physical institutes have been closed, but the internet and the whole World Wide Web, you have seen emerging billions of skill enthusiasts and skill teachers who are either teaching you how to cook, how to dance, how to sing music, how to play a musical instrument, how to paint, how to draw, how to weld, how to saw, how to make a chair, and everybody is using the digital medium to show their creative talent. And I think this is one age where you will see the age of creativity and the age of digital coming up, and the future of work and the ways business will actually redo and redesign their whole activities is going to be very much different. On a lighter note, it is not the CEO or the CTO or the chief information officer who has led to the digital transformation of a company. It is the COVID, which has actually led to accelerated digital transformation of the companies. And I think as we go along, and hopefully by next year when the WorldSkills is there, we might have a physical meeting. But WorldSkills has been a collective voice for promoting excellence in skills and inspiring young people. And I really hope, Avastha, that Aswatha, that you are continue to be an inspiration to the millions of young kids who view you as an icon, and that you will inspire a lot of other people to win medals. Uh, Ranjan and the NSDC and the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and you heard some of the initiatives of the ministers this morning along with Mr. Nayak. I think the events like India Skills and World Skills is to encourage, motivate youth to pursue vocational education and make this whole skills aspirational. So this whole fireside chat that we are organizing, and Shobha and Shiv and the team are actually leading it, is really focused with one ambition: how to chase, and I'm adding a word, how to chase and realize your winning moments. Because for the millions who were actually tracking you, Ashwatha, that day, to see the Indian tricolor go up and see you go up and receive a medal was really, a matter of great pride, matter of great, happiness for all of us associated with this endeavor. So thank you again very much for joining. And I would now like to hand over to Shobha to moderate the panel discussion going forward. So thank you, everybody, all the participants and the panelists for joining. Over to you, Shobha.
Thank you, Dilip, and thank you for that wonderful welcome address. I think on behalf of all the panelists and FICCI, and I think the country, we thank you for initiating the skill ecosystem in the country. And I think you will always be remembered for that. Thank you so much. So good evening, everyone. Well, I'm Shobha Mishra Ghosh, Assistant Secretary General. And on behalf of FICCI, I again extend a very warm welcome to our esteemed panelists, as well as the participants who are present here to this World Youth Skill Day that FICCI is celebrating. And the year's theme, as mentioned earlier, is Skills for a Resilient Youth in the Era of COVID-19 and Beyond. So friends, resilience and reskilling would be the mantra for the post-COVID recovery. As Dilip very rightly mentioned that, well, we know what is happening in the COVID scenario, but we don't know how the post-COVID scenario is going to, ramp out. And therefore, what is it and how is it that we need to prepare? So one thing is certain, that the youth will have to prepare for the uncertain times in the future and have to be resilient enough to reskill and upskill themselves as and when the need arises. Industry's survival and continuity of business during the COVID-19 crisis also has rested significantly on its own preparedness to mitigate the risk and prepare their workforce for current and future challenges. When I talk about future challenges, we must focus on developing responsive youth, as I mentioned earlier, who is equipped with skills required to access the new world of work. In today's program, we have key dignitaries, as earlier mentioned, from industry, from academia, and NSDC, that is representing the government. Last but not the least, we have the youth, the gold winner with us, S. Aswatha Narayan, who is the star of this chat show, and also the promoter of C.V. Raman College of Engineering, Bhubaneswar. He's also with us. We also have Festo, that has been mentoring industry for Aswatha. And of course, we have our own chair, Sanjeev Shivnani, co-chair of the Skill Development Committee. And last but not the least, Ranjan Chaudhary, who is the facilitator of WorldSkills competition for the country. As already mentioned, Aswatha has he's the first Indian to win the WorldSkills gold medal. And indeed, we are extremely proud. And I think he needs a great applause. If we were meeting in a physical thing, we would be all applauding for him.
Yes.
So friends, before we start the chat, fireside chat, I wanted to also announce and launch, Know Your Career series that FICCI is launching. This is a program under FICCI Samsung Center of Excellence on Career Counseling. While the entire activities during the COVID pandemic has come to standstill, particularly in education and training ecosystem, FICCI has been very, very active, and the Model Career Center, which is the FICCI Samsung Career Counseling Center of Excellence, has been very, very active, planning number of webinars. So we organized about 21 webinars on career counseling across 13 sectors. We have also organized a pilot virtual internship fair in which more than 25 organizations participated and more than 800 students enrolled. During our online sessions, 60 plus CXOs from various sectors shared their views on emerging business models and employment scenario, and and the skills that are required and how the youngsters can actually remodel their career aspirations and kind of reskill and retrain themselves. We also organize 37 free online employability enhancement workshops. With all such initiatives and engagements, we have reached out to more than 17,000 youth across various states. Now, in this series, we are now introducing the Know Your Career series, which is aligned to emerging world of work with focus on meeting the aspirations of students from multiple disciplines from like science and technology, arts, humanities, commerce, and other vocational streams. The first area that we are covering under this series is space technology as emerging career. And this session is being organized in supported by the Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, that is ISRO, on the 21st of July 2020. And it is going to be an 1-hour session from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So all the youngsters who have logged in for the session, please block your diaries and do log in for Know Your Career session on 21st of July. The registration link is on the slide here. So now we will move on to the chat show with our eminent panelists. So we all know, friends, that World Skill Competition is equivalent to the Skill Olympics, which competitors participate in skills, industrial trade across sectors. So I would like to first ask our eminent panelists to give their opening remarks, talking about skill development, world skill competition, its correlation with economic development, and their own experience so far. And to start the discussion, I will first ask our star of the session, Aswatha, to talk about his own experience from Orissa to Russia. And thereafter, we will move on to, I will ask Sanjeev, followed by Ranjan, and then Rashmikant, and then Sanjeev, you can come in. So Aswatha, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. The pleasure is mine being part of the discussion today. It's been an incredible journey of learning, being part of the WorldSkills competition, representing the nation at the WorldSkills platform, getting an opportunity itself to represent the country at an international platform is something that's an opportunity which only comes once. So it is something that I have been it has been an incredible thing. The entire journey was has helped me to grow personally as well as professionally, and especially in the competition, winning the medal for the country for the first time, winning a gold medal and holding the national flag in front of 40,000 people who were watching us in the Kazan arena when the closing ceremony was happening. That is an incredible moment, I would say, and that's one moment that I would cherish my entire life. And I would say, I don't see any reason why more young people cannot grab this opportunity and represent the country at an international platform. So, on this World Youth Skills Day, I would say one needs to take up a skill in which they are passionate about and see if they can actually compete in these sort of competitions and actually use those skill sets to actually do better in their career. So, thank you.
And I must, also mention that Aswatha, I think, competed with 11 countries, right?
Exactly.
So with the gold medal. And water technology is a discipline which not every other youth is excited about. So Aswatha, could you just, why did you get, your background is not water technology, and yet you got interested in it. Can you just throw a little bit of light? Why this interest and what motivates and inspires you in this area?
Definitely. From the beginning, I have always been fascinated about the technology around me, and I have always, for me, the engineering degree was not just for earning like earning a certificate, but it was about actually gaining knowledge. So I see it as not just earning a degree, but the knowledge that we gain through the process. So I have always looked at that kind of opportunities as something which is bigger and beyond actually winning or losing. I saw that the knowledge that we gain in this process, the learning will stay with us. So that has been the case with me for most of the time. And when I saw that water technology was newly introduced at the WorldSkills competition, and I saw that I would the registration was open, and the thing that actually grabbed my interest was the automation part, and it also has got an environmental cause, water being the world's most critical resource the on the planet. The people who actually preserve the water, the qualification and the importance of them is second to none. And looking at this, it has interested me, and once I got to learn more about the skill, the interest has just gradually started growing. There was no looking back actually. So now 11 months after the competition, now I am actually looking at a career in water resource management and engineering. So I am planning to do my master's in this field. So that's the kind of change that this skill journey has brought into my life, personally as well as professionally. So water technology specifically is a skill related to water supply and wastewater treatment industry challenges in particular. So it focuses on the challenges that involve in these sectors. And the skilled individual who is called as the water technologist. So the role of them is to actually address these challenges, and it requires them to be multidisciplinary. It requires them to have a multidisciplinary skill set. It's not just limited to a particular branch of engineering. So there are challenges that we are going to deal with in different areas of engineering. So specifically talking, it's about the chemical and biological analysis. We can say that that's where the water sampling and testing the quality of water comes into picture. There is mechanical aspect to it, wherein one needs to understand the challenges within the piping system and the entire fixtures that are involved in the piping system. So one needs to actually be able to be able to address the problems like fixing a faulty pump or within the piping system. So one needs to have knowledge of that, and the electrical automation, which is the key factor why I was into this skill. So that's where the automation comes into picture. So one needs to have knowledge of actually parameterizing the sensors and actually simulate the entire process of treatment or supply. A particular part of the entire plant can be simulated, but the challenge is to be able to actually find the right solution. So using automation, we should be able to do that. And apart from that, we also have environmental engineering aspect, wherein one needs to have knowledge of how to actually deal with the challenges that are there, and then give the solutions, provide the solutions swiftly. Let's say there's an emergency situation and one needs to analyze the situation very quickly and respond to it by providing a solution. And this is the kind of knowledge that is required by the individual to be called as a water technologist. So that's the skill, water technology.
Absolutely. And I think there is a social aspect and the economic aspect as well, because as a water technocrat, you have to understand what are the social implications and the economic implications on the industry. So thank you, Aswatha. That was wonderful. I am moving on. Sanjeev, if you can come in and talk about, your own interest, your own journey in the skill development. You have, you run a university, which was earlier a college, of course, engineering college. So how did you get interested in skill development, and how did you, what motivated you to get into WorldSkill competition, mentoring, and why water technology, and what other skill set are you focusing on? If you can, throw some light on that.
Yeah, thank you, Sova. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this, chat. And First of all, I like to say again a thanks to FICCI that they have given me a platform and opportunity to be part of all the delegation to different universities and also to the WorldSkill Abu Dhabi. And I was a great follower of WorldSkill. And every time we see the WorldSkill, we find the India position is much below, and we call India is the land of IT. And the Prime Minister he gives a slogan that you are going to be the skill capital of the world. But when there was a skill competition, we see that India's position is in a very badly placed. So, while traveling to Abu Dhabi, and I was very curious to see that how the other countries are performing and why India is not able to perform. So, you recollect that FICCI has arranged a lot of meeting with Brazil and other counterparts, those who have got absolutely big success in the previous WorldSkill and all. So those aspects gave me an inspiration that yes, we can we can win a medal, and we can also win a gold medal in the world scale. And being an edu entrepreneur, and being that time I was having an engineering college. Today it is a global university. That time I thought but to see which skill we must focus on, because there are so many skills, around 40-50 skills where this competition is done among all the countries. So people earlier they used to focus in the low end skills. Water technology was a very high end skills. It is a skill combination of 5 high end skills, like in automation, mechatronics, and we have chemical engineering, we have virtual reality, IT knowledge also in, and mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. There are so many components inbuilt to water technology. And you might be knowing that we already had this setup in our campus through FESTO, as FESTO WorldSkills Center for water and process automation. So I thought of that we should participate in this, because we are the only college that time having this center and offering programs to our students. And I see there is no reason why we can't compete and we can really win. And then I tried, I requested NSDC, to include water technology as part of the skill to be competed in the next world skill. And thankfully, NSDC they introduced world skill water technology. And because we are having all these equipments training, and our trainers are already been trained in Germany several times, so it became very easy for us to handle this skill. Otherwise it was a very complicated skill, having so many skills inbuilt in it. And thanks to our bankers and all those who supported us to procure all these equipments, new equipments which are required for the world skill. Because world skill is always about future of skills. It is always about the latest technology. They never compete in a technology which is outdated or in use. They always look for a technology is going to be used. So that's why, to keep in pace with water technology, we have, in other ways, we have developed our centers to world-class level. We have developed 30 center of excellence in different skills, only changing after world scale. So when we look at water technology, we found that we still need better coach, because that time there was no such instructor or coach available in India who can train one person in all these 5 skills. So we need to appoint lecturers or trainers, master trainers in all different skills. Luckily, we have chemical engineering as one of the department in our university. We have automation, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. So we formed a group, and all these trainers, those are already been trained several times in Germany. They started training, and we also hire an international trainer for Ossos. We also send Ossos to Germany, because that time those equipments has not arrived, because the new equipments which is going to be introduced in world scale, it just arrived before 2 months before the world scale competition. So that's why we need to send Ossos to Germany to get training on it. And Ossos being an instrumentation engineer students, So he has already 1 year trained on the automation, part of this water technology. So, and the other skills like the VR, like the chemical engineering and the electrical engineering, it is really the sincere hard work of Aswast and Rajat and the entire team of our water technology in Siviraman Global University, and his chief expert, Mr. Hugo from South Africa. He really worked hard to develop himself in chemical engineering and writing skills and presentation skills in electrical engineering, virtual reality, and the way Aswath transformed himself from an instrumentation engineer to a water technology expert, that is something amazing. And while we all went to Kazan, again in a delegation of FICCI, that time, so many questions being asked to me from my secretary, from my ministers, from my friends, that do you see any chance in this competition? I have the simple answer. We all prepared and we are competing, but this much I can say that we'll do well, and will not let our country down. Definitely we'll in the top five, but we'll perform well. But when the competition started, it was really in a tough game, because the stress somebody has to handle. And I was there 24/7 around the competition, and the way also handle stress, I think that is the key point of his success of winning this gold medal. Because all these participants, those are competing in the world scale, they all are champions. They all are national champions. They all are trained years together to compete in that competition. So as far as skill is considered, hardly it is 1% or 2% difference you find. But the person who is physically fit can handle stress and can adapt to the situation, and he will win. And that time, to us, the German candidate was very favorable, and he was a really talented person, talented guy. And he was doing very well in the camps, boot camps and all. But the day one he collapsed. He just couldn't handle the stress, so he was out of the competition. There are so many countries, those who have won medal last time, they all went out from the competition because their candidates, they could handle stress. And if you can't handle stress, then you start making silly mistakes. So preparing a world skill champion or world skill competition, it is not only about the skill or the equipment or the training. In a country like India, we have a lot of challenges. We hardly 1% or 2% of the universities, they have equipments matching to the world skill requirement. And we have a different selection procedure which doesn't fit to the requirement of the world skill. And we have a lot of master trainers. Those are highly qualified, talented, but they all are professionals working in industry, and they have hardly any time to devote for a year or two to train. A part-time or a part-shift basis, no training can possible. No way we can create a champion, world skill champion. So and the world skill is all about the future of skills. So the higher education, higher technical education need to come in. So AICT and NSDC should collaborate to see that most of the university, they adopt to the world skill curriculum and the requirement, so that university will start investing money in procuring world skill equipments, and the students will get trained. Then you see we will have a larger pool of students to select, and we see India winning more and more medals in the world scale. But at this current scenario, very less people, they know what is world skill is all about. They have a very wrong idea about the world skill competition or the skilling, or they see skilling as always at the bottom of the pyramid. They see it is the labor, work and all, which people talk about skilling. It is not that. Today, when you talk that yes, India should be an Atmanirbhar India, when you start looking at manufacturing a lot of products, you need a lot of highly skilled manpower. So that time again you have to import manpower from for all Indian companies, because when you talk about future of skills product, future of skills technology, you won't find these people are ready to come and help the industry and work as a workforce. So if that Atmanirbhar India is going to be successful, then the skill has to play a bigger role. and the NSDC and the WorldSkill will play a much bigger role. So
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjeev. I think you have absolutely put the nail on the head. And let me tell you, as Aswatha is inspirational for the youth, I think C.V. Raman's journey also is pretty inspirational for all the educational institutions. You know, the way you have ramped up your own setup from a regional college of engineering to a global university, and the focus on, and the number of center of excellences that you have set up, that is something which needs to be really, really admired. And thank you so much for taking that lead. That I will now like to bring in actually Festo, Rashmikant Joshi. Festo has invested has been invested into WorldSkill for many years, and it's at the global level, at the international level. So Rashmi, if you can just throw a little bit of light as to why Festo feels that WorldSkill competition is an integral part of its journey into being a leader in its own domain, and what is the benefit that it derives by investing into WorldSkill competitions?
Thank you, Shobha. Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, allow me to congratulate and thank FICCI for arranging this session on this World Youth Skill Day. I think this is really very important to inspire, to motivate, to encourage students and real upcoming generation to get skilled, and also to institutes to skill students, the way seeing the example of Ashwath Narayan and what Mr. Raut is doing. But also this is a fantastic example of industry-institute collaboration, success story of person like Ashwath Narayan on Chamber of Industry platform, FICCI. I think this is fantastic, historical, I would say, in a way. Allow me to give a quick reference why, what is the importance of WorldSkill and why Festo is doing what they're doing. Festo is a leading organization specializing in industrial control and automation solutions for factory and process automation. Today we are talking about process automation, what Ashwath has done on water technology. So Festo offers a wide range and services to industries in many countries. Together with our partners from science and industry, like C.V. Raman, for example, Festo is continuously researching for new solutions and technologies for future of production. Now, to help shape important issues surrounding, let us say today we are talking about Industry 4.0, such as consistent communication, service-oriented architecture, and to pick up impetus for our own products, because we need all these technologies. What, for example, Ashwath has got really skilled on, we need all these to develop products on our own for the market. So for this, Festo is also member on various networks such as Industry 4.0 platform or LEPS network or OPC Foundation, etc. And now, Mr. Raut spoke about Festo Didactic. He's a world leader in supplying equipment and solutions for industrial education. It operates a growing network of learning centers worldwide and acts as a consultant for project design and implementation for public and private sectors. We did it in C.V. Raman, for example, and that's where the water technology and skilling and the gold medal for India was born. Further, Festo Didactic designs and implements learning laboratories, educational equipment, and programs that train people to perform in highly dynamic and complex industrial learning environment. Exactly what Mr. Raut said. That it's not only about skill, yeah, it's much beyond. And due to our long-standing experience in designing labor market-oriented curricula, we have a wide range of competence profiles which can be used for effective training on new equipment and introduction of new technology. Now, let me allow me to come to WorldSkill topic. WorldSkill competition have for many years been the leading platform for international benchmarking in education. We have to remember this. It is an international benchmarking. Each year, we at Festo We face this competition with a very high enthusiasm. As an employer, we are owned as an employer, as a training company, as an equipment and solution provider in the field of technical education, and as a promoter of the dual system for vocational training. What motivates us to be the consistently a leader in field of technical education, to push forward research and learning, and to generate fresh impetus. It stems from technical education to push forward research from variety of sources, from our flexible approach to work in teams, and all this is something which Ashwath did. From learning together with other disciplines and ways of thinking, from continuous and persistent research into technologies, and from our intuitive, forward-looking orientation in development of products. And this is precisely, these are the qualities that young people need in competition. They must work consistently and flexibly, often under pressure. They must both complement and communicate with their partners. They must have a good command of technology and its multiplicity of details, and be intuitive and curious when faced with apparently difficult to solve problems. If you ask Ashwath a little more in detail, I have heard him earlier, so I can tell you what terrible situation he has been while undergoing the competition, that he knew that now there is no go, no chance, it's over. He had lost it, but then he turned it around into a win on the last. Amazing. And this is what the children, students learn. Now in India, we have been supporting NSDC since 2011. Let me tell you, Festo has a long history with WorldSkills. It became a founding sponsor partner in 1991. At WorldSkills International, Festo is a sponsor of Future Skill Industry 4.0 and for the skills, mechatronics, and water technology. We are also co-sponsor for industrial control, polymechanics, and automation, as well as industrial mechanics millwright. But in India, since 2011, and I think Dilip Shinoy should remember, he was CEO then and godfather, that we decided to participate in mechatronics at WorldSkills competition. Since then, we have supported NSDC with national selections, India Skills competition, and then extending support for training for participants representing in WorldSkills competition. If you look back, GTTI, GD Technical Training Institute in 2011, Tata Motors in 2013, Volkswagen in 2015, Toyota in 17 and 19, they have represented India and supported by Festo India. But interestingly, what Mr. Raut said, Festo laid foundation stone for water technology skill way back in 2012, and then could excite and convince NSDC to participate in new trade of water technology. We all are proud now that Ashwath Narayan has brought us the first gold medal for India ever. I think we all owe him a big applause. It has been sheer dedication, and allow me to use Hindi word, sadhana. What he did was real sadhana over several months, not for nothing that he could then finally achieve what he did. And the credit also goes to someone who made it possible for Ashwath to have the opportunity to work on. Without passion and personal involvement of Mr. Raut, who acted as not only sponsor but also mentor for Ashwath. Without him, the mission was impossible. And I think these examples, we need many Ashwaths in this country. We have 130 million people, and we are really at a very beginning stage. COVID or no COVID, let me tell you, opportunities have always been there for India when it comes to skilling. They are there today, and they will be there also tomorrow. Skilling, what one can do with hands, is all can provide power to a nation and nothing else. And this is all about skilling. The reason why we at Festo are so excited, and we need institutes like of Mr. Raut, who can really support students to reach this level. This much from my side.
Thank you, Rashmi. I think this is, the trio of industry, academia, and the student. I mean, what you represent today on this platform is indeed highly, commendable, and our applause for you. And that brings us to the one facilitating agency or person who has the tough job of bringing all actors together and and making taking the show forward, getting the right people connected. It's not an easy job, and that brings me to Ranjan Chaudhary of NSDC, who heads the WorldSkill competition in NSDC. And I must say that I do not admire his job. It's an extremely tough job, and he has been there right from the inception. And he has seen the journey when India didn't even win medallions to the last year's performance, where we won 15 medallions. We won a gold, a silver, and two bronze medals, a silver and a gold. So that was indeed a massive achievement. So Ranjan, bringing over to you, do share your journey of from the start to now, and how do you think we can actually going forward bring in more such winning teams as Rashmi elaborated, in not only just future skills but also the current skill sets that are required for any economic development. Over to you, Ranjan.
Thank you, Shobha. I've had the privilege of being associated with WorldSkills right since 2010, when NSDC was given the responsibility. And the first competition was way back in 2011 in London, when we came back empty-handed. But it was the beginning of a journey. And over the years, we have progressed till as of the 2019, we were 13th amongst 63 countries. We were ahead of most EU countries as well as ASEAN countries, and neck to neck with countries such as Germany and Britain, which is quite commendable. But again, the credit would go to all the stakeholders who make it possible. So while WorldSkills is compared to Olympics, I think the comparison, I would personally say that can only be limited to the scale, the format of the competition that is held, and the fact that it identifies excellence and the best person in the in that in particular trade. But it is much more, and some aspects have already been touched upon. So the member countries, all of them participate not just for winning medals or doing well. It is a platform which, through the competitors, the role models that get created, seeks to raise aspirations amongst vocational trades, which is a challenge in most countries. There are few exceptions. Secondly, as Mr. Joshi mentioned, it is a platform where you get to benchmark your talent, your skills, your capabilities. It is a biennial event where for each job role, standards are updated, assessment protocols developed, as well as what is the most optimum or efficient way of performing different tasks. While it serves one purpose in improving the performance at the next competition, I think the greater takeaway for each country and every stakeholder who's a part of that competition is to be able to percolate the learning in terms of standards, benchmarks, assessment and training protocols, and the equipment into the vet or the training infrastructure and system within the country, whether it is with the industry or academia. The other unique part is that it's a collaborative endeavor. It is a collaboration between academia, industry, youth, and government. For this to succeed, it is impossible, and it's not just in India, it's impossible for any one stakeholder to take it forward. And the success or the failure of a country depends on how these stakeholders come together. And I can say unequivocally that WorldSkills is one platform where every stakeholder comes forward because there's a takeaway for each of them. The first medal for India was won way back in 2009 in plastic dye engineering, a silver medal. Since then, it's been a journey. But last time, I would like to, the real stars in this are the youth who actually perform, and whether they win or they represent the country, they're all winners. So if I were to take the 4 winners of medals in 2019, they were distinct in their own ways. We have, of course, Ashwath, who won a gold, a first for the country, and really changed the paradigm and the thought process, which was so required for the WorldSkills competition. If you look at the silver medalist, the winner was a school student. I think that also sends a very, very powerful message that if you have the skill set, and WorldSkills allows it, they do not put barriers in terms of academic qualifications. If a country feels a competitor has the skill set and they endorse it, the person is free to represent the country. And I think the messaging which Pranav said was also remarkable. In terms of Shweta, she was the first woman who won a medal, and I think that was also great. And I would also like to touch upon the jewelry, the person who won the jewelry medal. He comes from not a privileged background. He's a school dropout, yet he beat all odds to win a bronze for that country. That just goes to show the talent that is there amongst our youth. And given the right opportunities, they can prove to be world beaters. So to me, it is not just a competition, but a movement which not only, in terms of medals, allows India, or if we do well, improves our standing, provides a great messaging. But as a platform, it has the ability to transform the vet system within the country. Mr. Raut has touched upon it, as Mr. Joshi, and I could not agree more that the WorldSkills and India Skills platform has the ability to transform the vet system, and this would have a direct impact in terms of talent and hence the productivity and the economy of the country. So it's growing. Last time we had 20 states participating. This time 30 states have expressed interest. So taking it down to the district level, there's a lot of work to be done. We will win some, we will lose some. I'm sure the trend that has been set and the path that has been shown by Ashwath, by CV Raman Engineering, by corporates such as Festo supporting it, I see it progressing. I'd also like to, of course, acknowledge uh, FICCI in their role as a chamber of commerce. Association chambers have also, and industry associations also play a critical role in it. We've seen sector skill councils supporting it fledgedly, full-heartedly. And going ahead, all I can say is that if all of us come together, we can make it a game changer. Before I end, I'd also like to say that the role models are the stars, are the youth who actually win medals. But we shouldn't forget the trainers, the gurus who work with them. It's an incredibly tough journey. In fact, the gurus train them to an extent that when they actually go to compete, they are better than their gurus, because there are several aspects that they need to be trained. So they really become a master of all trades. And also very encouraging that for WorldSkills Shanghai, we have 8 Indian trainers who will be chief experts or deputy chief experts or skill competition managers. And 8 out of 55 trades, about maybe slightly less than 20%, says a lot about our subject matter experts in their terms of not only their domain knowledge, but also their leadership skills in order to be able to manage a complex competition such as the WorldSkills. Thank you, Shobha, once again.
Thank you, Ranjan. I think that was absolutely comprehensive rundown of our country's journey in the WorldSkill competition. But there is, as you say, much to be done further. We are absolutely only at the helm of getting into the competition arena. I think there is a need for taking these competition down to the schools, in a more structured manner, and create India skills, junior skills for India. Those competition needs to be introduced. And as you know, that FICCI also does the BRICS, Future Skill Challenge, which is more often not a competition, but challenge to kind of benchmark the skills between the BRICS countries. And that is something, again, NSDC has been supporting it, and we still need to make it more formal. And in 2021, if the COVID pandemic subsides, we will be doing the BRICS Future Skill Challenge in India. And my own personal ambition and dream is that if we can combine the BRICS Future Skill Challenge and India Skill Junior, together for 2021, and that also kind of pans out to the World Skill competitions in Shanghai, that would be a wonderful journey. Much to be done. Thank you so much. That brings us to Sanjay Shivnani, the co-chair of FICCI Skill Development Committee. Before I bring him in, I also would request our participants, please do write in your questions that you may have, which you would like to ask any one of our panelists, and they will take it up. Sanjay, coming, you've heard all the 4 stakeholders who have been instrumental in taking the World Skill competition, India's name in World Skill competition. Do enlighten us, how can we make industry participate in a better way? Because we see accepting for a very niche industry that is aware of World Skill competition, there is a general apathy because they are not aware of what World Skill competition is, what are the benefits that will accrue. So how do we make it aspirational for industry to get engaged with it, and also for the youth, because at the end of it, a vocation is aspirational, which is directly related to the remuneration that one gets. Right. So how do we, really pass that hurdle? Over to you. These are tough questions, but
yes,
we look
yes, very difficult. Thank you so much, Shobha. Yes, tough questions, questions that put me in the spot. Okay, but honestly, I think really, Shobha, you put across 2 questions. How do you get industry to participate? Just like, and I'm saying role model stuff that Festo has done, led by Mr. Joshi. So you like to see more of that, of course, industry, and also, of course, youth and students who should be coming forward to participate a lot more. I think there are these 2 things. Having said that, if I just like to step back and say, and thank you so much, Ranjan, for putting the spotlight and not forgetting the gurus. Okay, I thought that was very important piece. And you know, and especially if we are talking about the involvement of industry, I think Shobha, this is a journey. Okay, and Ranjan spoke about 2011. I and Dilip were probably the only ones there in London. And after that, in 2013, we had Leipzig, if Ranjan remembers that. We were at Leipzig as well. So, and in those years, we didn't bring any medals. And today, uh, congratulations again to Ashwath and, of course, Mr. Raut for doing some phenomenal work in this space. So I think it's a journey. It will take, it will mature over a period of time. As you can see, it's started maturing and it's starting to show results. And I think a lot of this really is what we have seen now with Ashwath's success and then participation by so many stakeholders. I think it's a wonderful piece of magic that this collaboration has created. Okay. And I think if we can put this story, carry this story out, publicize it a lot more with industry, I think that is one way. Like I said, I don't think Rome, again, Shobha, Rome was not created in a day. It will not happen. But over the last 10 years, I've seen WorldSkill right from day one almost. Okay. I think there's been a massive amount of change. And we have been growing in our rankings. There's been more participation. As regards the other side of the coin, which is the youth participation, the India competitions that have been happening. And as Ranjan said, taking it down to the district level, encouraging that to happen. Our ITIs alone output about 1.8 million students every year. Okay. Then our NSDC skill training partners, another 1.5 to 2 million. I think there is enough, and if everyone can align in the same direction, which is at least for this ecosystem, it is fairly easy. And the fact that I remember when we started the India competitions, and I don't remember which year, but I remember I do recall these conversations. That is WorldSkill. Why don't we have something India skills that will give us the filters to take people on to WorldSkill? If you remember that, and now it's been progressively, it's been deepening its roots. It's going further into districts. So I think you will get a lot more encouraging response from the youth. That is one. But the other driver for that is something which Dilip mentioned in his inaugural address, was vocational, and which Sanjeev also mentioned, and I think Mr. Joshi also mentioned. We must really start uh, not only identifying but glorifying programs and vocational education that says that it is sometimes a greater God. It is sometimes much more worthy to learn to do something with your hands and so on and so forth, rather than just learning theoretical knowledge. Okay, becoming an automobile technician or becoming a cook, or a specialist in a designer or something like that. I'm just saying that these are very, very important aspects to take care of. And I'm glad we also pulled this out and said that vocational education as a formal part of the education. Today, our education system is still dichotomy. It's K-12 and higher education. Vocational in the middle, which is to be formalized. And if you do that, I think you'll suddenly unlock both these problems that you have had, the problem of supply and also collaboration. I think you will unlock both of these. And a lot of institutes, you see, higher education, you have a lot of private industry participation in higher education. You could do that similarly in vocational if we just formalized it and unlocked it. Okay, so that is my suggestions on these two very specific points, Rizwan. But I must say, very, very purposeful. Ashwath, I was listening to him and I said, really, I think skill education, vocational education is a lot more purposeful, lot more focused, and I think it will unlock a lot of change and transformation in the country.
Thank you, Sanjeev. I think that's a very good, great message. That I think the silos between higher education and vocational education and school education needs to go.
Yes.
It needs to be, the cross mobility between the industry and education, and in between the vocational education needs to be pretty much, should be seamless. And I think that is what the intent was when the National Skill Qualification Framework was
Right.
created. And unfortunately, it is still to be implemented across the country, and that is something which needs to be completely
Right.
expedited and put forward. There's one question which is for all the panelists, which has come in, is what are the transferable skills required for creating the youth skilled in nation? So Sanjay, if you want to go through, otherwise the others can come in. I mean, if you would like to address this.
Okay, just 1 second. Which question was that?
What are the transferable skills that are going to be required in the future?
Transferable skills that will be required in the future. I think the transferable skills really, to my mind, is this new paradigm that we have heard about, which is platform skills. Platform skills are over and above your core skills, whether you are a good welder or a plumber or a cook or a mechanic or a water technologist for that matter. The transferable skills are platform skills like your IT and your digital skills, not really IT, digital skills, communication skills, collaboration skills, writing, listening, speaking, those kind of the softer skills. I think those are transferable skills. So those are platform skills, and I think that is that's the layer on top of your core skills or around your core skills really. So that, to my mind, is what I would call transferable skills. But over to others for their.
Anybody else want to come in? Sanjeev, Ranjan, Rashmi.
So I'd agree with the.
Yeah. Yeah, Sobha, I'd like to just say, these transferable skills, what to talk about. Today, most of the skills are interdiscipline. If you are undergoing one skill or you are going one engineering program, you need to have knowledge in a lot of multiple skills. You understand? So in that way, if somebody wants to really change him to a next level or to a level of future of skills or as an expert, so they have to integrate them to the other skills. And mostly the IT skills are playing in between this. You understand? Okay. So yeah, so that is something somebody has to keep in mind, because now IT applications in most of the skills are there. So apart from the core skills, they have to take these new skills, future of skills, those mostly in the digital platform, to make their capability to a different level, take their capability to a different level. That's my opinion.
I think Ranjan wanted to come in.
No, I'm not too clear what exactly is meant by transferable skills, but I guess I'd agree with what Sanjay and Mr. Raut said.
Shobha, if I can
Sure.
come in now, I think we have very good example of Ashwath Narayan here. It's very interesting. And what Mr. Raut has done while skilling him on water technology was very much an example of transferable skills. I think transferable skills can differ from person to person. My transferable skills of mine or required for me might be different than yours. But if I speak transferable skills, for example, communication skills, for example, adaptability, teamwork, facing a very severe situation, what Ashwath went through, which he was trained on. I think transferable skills are something beyond our normal skills, which we're talking about mechatronics or or being an automotive engineer, etc., etc. These are all straightforward keys, but the transferable skills are something which can make a person competitive in an environment. So a very basic transferable skill is, for example, communication skill, yeah, which is not a skill which on its own alone, stand alone, can work. Yeah. So I think these are extremely important, because today any skill institute, if you look at it, they don't provide only the mainstream skills, they also provide skills which are around it, and these are transferable skills.
So one example would be design thinking is a transferable skill.
Right. Very right. Yes.
Thinking process.
Design thinking, resilience. I think the skill that Mr. Sanjeev Raut also mentioned, very good, that how Ashwath managed stress. He overcame the conditions, the circumstances, managing risk, managing stress. I think all of these by themselves are also skills, skills which result in certain kinds of behaviors. So all of these are transferable to any job or any role or any livelihood option that one chooses.
So adaptability, communication,
Right.
all those things. Yeah. So that brings me to Aswatha, and this is a question for you from the audience. Has the WorldSkill winning changed your professional prospects? So before you won the gold medal and after you won the, how different is your, of course, now you said that you are going to do the post-graduation, so whether you're doing in India, abroad, and before you actually even thought of going into WorldSkill competition, what was your plan? If you can share it with the audience.
Yeah. So basically, yes, before WorldSkills, I think it was pretty much like I was opportunities where I can actually work in a field of my interest, but it wouldn't have been possible if not for the with the WorldSkills training and competition, that the opportunities that came to me right now, like the scope has really increased a lot, I would say. So yes, WorldSkills training and winning at the WorldSkills as well has brought a lot of recognition, and in terms of the value that it adds to the profile, I would say it's extremely important, and yeah, right now I'm going to pursue my master's from Germany. So with the current situation, yes, of course, it might be delayed a bit, but I have been admitted into a university in Germany, but the situation doesn't seem very, very positive right now. But I got to know that they are going to conduct the course online for the first semester, so which is a positive thing. Yeah, that's how it is. So yes, definitely. WorldSkills, the best part about WorldSkills, according to me as a competitor, if you would ask me, is it is not just about winning a medal. It's actually beyond that. The learning that you are going to have in the process of training and competing at WorldSkills is something that you are going to it's going to stay with you, and that itself adds a lot of value. And when we talk about skill, particularly, I would say, like if somebody is a welding technician or a plumbing technician, people have a wrong perception that they're just limited to that particular thing. But the perception has to change, actually. That can be the starting point for them, wherein they can look for more much better opportunities and expand their expertise in that particular field. That's how it should work, and I think the perception will change with the WorldSkills movement, and the belief that WorldSkills is trying to bring that skills can actually change lives, impact the lives of young people. It is actually put into practice by the WorldSkills. They themselves actually bring the industry partners together, and that itself is going to expose the competitors and the people who are involved to the best in the industry, and that's how the opportunities open. And That's what I would say. I hope that I answered the question.
Absolutely bang on. And I think we have really run over, we are almost 10 minutes over the session time. Thank you, Aswata. It was wonderful to have you. And we ended, we're ending the session also with you. I will ask, since Dilip is with us here, your closing comments, Dilip.
So thank you, Shobha. I think I really enjoyed the entire discussion. And I, liked Ranjan in his own measured way, actually talked about the transformation and the whole importance of the trainers or the gurus, as he called them. So I've been looking at the chat box, and I've been looking at some of the questions that have been coming there. So first of all, this is a pan-India movement. It is not restricted to a particular state or something. Anybody, if you go onto the WorldSkills website, you can actually, download some of the things that have been done in the past. And if you have the facility, you can benchmark yourself against those skills in your own institute. So you don't require any rocket science to be able to benchmark yourself, and any institution can do it. And with organizations like Festo always there, you can reach out to them for their skills, or the other organizations for the other skills. And like Mr. Raut and the C.V. Raman Institute invested, anybody can do it. So there is no barrier to actually, getting hold of the competition information or standards or the type of projects that they have, and actually preparing yourself. There is also no barrier to competing at the district level or the skill at the state level competition. In fact, one of the big challenges to get a lot of people, I saw there is one very nice comment of, is it going to end up like sports? I don't think it's going to end up like sport, right? Because here it is a very different way of interaction, a different way of evaluation. And yes, in some cases, like in some sports, it's very expensive to participate, but not necessarily. And you can find a lot of ways to actually do that. The one point I would like to actually say is it's a day to be celebrated, right? Like they say, behind every champion, there are a lot of people who actually worked behind the scenes. Ranjan talked about some of them. Mr. Rao talked about some of them. You mentioned some of them. Most of Sanjay talked about it. But I think there's only one thing that this skill does for you, and I'd like to take back to a metaphor that a lot of us use in our daily life. A lot of us feel that we come into this world with a fortune or destiny written in the lines of our hand, or our hand determines our fortune. Skills is one thing which you actually perform with your hand that can change your destiny. And I think Ashwatha just actually showed how it can be done. And if you look at all the people who won medallions of excellence, right from the first winner, Ranjan talked about the current winner in jewelry, the person who actually participated in the first thing in jewelry, he got picked up by a very, important design house in Bangalore at a salary that nobody could have imagined. So it shows that if you have the dedication, if you put in the effort, you develop the skills, people will value it. I remember when Ranjan was leading the effort at Pragati Maidan, we were doing that, and there was a bricklaying competition, and we had visitors from Old Delhi, and I was quite surprised. Why is this guy sitting across the bricklayer? And I turned around and asked him. I said, why are you here? He says, who's this guy? Who's doing the bricks? Who are these people? I said, they're regular kids, below 22, and they're competing to represent India. He said, wow. I just casually asked him. I said, if he were to work with you, how much would you pay him? He says, nothing less than 60,000 rupees. This was for a bricklayer, a guy who was actually, not even there. He was competing to get into this. So you can, it's aspirational to learn a skill. It is rewarding to learn a skill, and you can transform your life and transform the lives of everyone you're in contact with if you actually put the hard effort and dedication. It's not easy to be competing in WorldSkills, right? But with the dedication, perseverance, and discipline, and of course, with a lot of help with people like Ranjan and all the other gurus there, it's possible. So to all the young kids who are actually listening, don't think that your destiny is written because the way you were born or where you were done. You have the ability through skills to transform not only your life but the lives of everybody who comes into contact with you and your families through dedication, perseverance, and hard work. And just dedicate yourselves on the World Youth Skills Day, that you will encourage yourself and anybody you come in touch, just find a skill and master it. 20 hours. You've put in your first 20 hours, then you put in another 20 hours, then you put in another 20 hours, and you'll soon be the master of any skill that you do. So thank you, Shobha, and thanks everyone for actually participating here, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that was extremely inspirational. And I would thank all the panelists, Sanjay, Sanjeev, Ranjan, Rashmi, Aswatha. And a very big thank you to Shiv, who arranged this in a very, very short time. And of course, all you participants right here in this platform and in the YouTube, thank you so much for joining in. And I think after what you have heard, I can only end it with saying that hum honge kamyab. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shobha.
Thank you, Shobha. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dilip. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dilip.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshi.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef.
Everyone, thank you.